Last time we took the xTool out of the box, set it up. We've had a little bit of time to play with the tool, and now we're here to report back on exactly how it's benefited me in this workshop. My name is Yaku. I've been in the trade for 30 plus years. Behind the camera, as per usual, is Damia. We do share what we do and what comes through the workshop with you, with the world. Hopefully there's something in here that helps you along in your journey of becoming a better goldsmith. All right, let's start with this. The tool is incredibly easy to use. There's a manual focus button. You turn and you get the points to line up, done. Or you could use an automatic focus function where you go into the software, select the height, and then let the automatic focus do the job for you. When it comes down to the framing, it's alignment, isn't it? The xTool comes with two types of framing. Rectangular framing function on the machine shoots a little rectangular shape. So if you have something symmetrical and you want to line it up, it's ideal for that kind of thing. Or my favorite is where you have a graphic outline running from the one point to the other side, and you can align the object until you're happy with it. Digitally, you can go onto the computer itself and realign it and move the laser around and have a look at it, make sure that you're happy with it before you even touch the item with the laser, and then process it from there. This is a video on the xTool F1 dual laser engraver. This means I'm going to tell you a few facts on this laser and how you can apply it. This machine can print on 300 plus materials. So as a small business, you can now advertise to say to people that you can print on just about anything. Nothing needs to be sent away. You have the facilities to do it right here on the premises. For instance, leather. If somebody brings in something like a watch strap, a belt, a gift of some sort, I can now offer the engraving services on the leather. Stainless steel is another one. People come in with watch straps to be adjusted. I can now customize those for them. Hip flask, dog tags, cutlery. Wood is the next thing. Very first thing I'm thinking about immediately is to take my jewelry boxes and customize them for my shop. Obviously that's going to benefit our shop, it's going to look more professional, and it's going to be unique. But other than that, when it comes down to wood, endless again. People might be bringing in frames, the base of a trophy or something like that, chopping boards, coasters, personalized boxes. Where I could previously just do these things in gold and in silver, I can now offer this as an extra service. Let the machine do the job. You can still do exactly what you're doing, but make the extra income with the machine doing the work for you. I've been engraving for quite some time, and I've been asked this a million times over, and that is glass engraving. That's usually not something that has the same tools that you would have with metal engraving. We would have had somebody else do that. You'd send it away. It engraves on glass, so we can now offer that service to our customers as well. That ties in very much with what we do as jewelers. We have moments of celebration that we're involved in. Something like a champagne glass can now be engraved for a special occasion. I make things by hand, but there are cases where wax casting would be the more appropriate way of going about it, making a unique piece of jewelry by carving it out of wax. Now, typically I would have used a little stencil and traced the actual shape of the ring out. That's another thing that this tool can help you with, which again I didn't think about, but since we've been playing around with it, I've come to realize that the opportunities just keep opening up. So I'm a goldsmith. I work in a world of very precise measurements, in millimeters in my case. Accuracy is absolutely everything to me. I can get down to 0.3 millimeters.
Font size.
Font size, really? 0.3 millimeters. Incredible movement accuracy, as well as HD resolution, three-dimensional pictures. You can have portraits of people or your pets printed onto the metal. Don't let the size of the machine, which is very compact, don't let that scare you off. If you have something like a belt, or you wanted to do a bangle before you actually bend it around and do a pattern, the slider extension is exactly what you're going to need. Does it do cylindrical shapes? Does it do the outside and the inside of a ring? It does with the RA2 Pro extension. It opens up a whole new three-dimensional side of laser engraving. It is a laser. It burns into the material. You might have a little bit of a fume that comes out of it. That little pipe that comes with it, it's not just to look pretty. We can actually take that and put it straight out the window, and it will feed the fumes out the back. If you're in a shop that has very little ventilation, then I would really highly recommend you looking at the purifier. Now again, I'm a goldsmith. We work with precious metals. This is also another question that I've received on Instagram. It's not going to cut deep into the metal. So I have actually tried printing it on silver and then removing it again. That takes a bit of time to remove, but it's maybe not longevity like you're thinking with a very deep cut. I'm using it to create stencils for my engraving. The transfer that I use on engraving when I'm doing my signet rings or I'm doing engraving by hand, those transfers, there's nothing that compares to the clarity of what this machine does. And just for that alone, if you're an engraver, I would highly recommend you look at this machine because it's going to save you a lot of time. I've asked people to bring handwriting, for instance, and we've done handwriting onto the actual items and then engraved over it. Now, what this machine does is it takes that handwriting, and you can even see the parts where the person's pressed harder, where it goes slightly thicker. It really makes your engraving stand out a little bit more authentic to the actual writing. For instance, what I've done, I've never seen a transfer as clear as this for engraving. The other thing that I'm thinking about, the class manufacturing, for instance, end tags and things like that, where I have little stencils that I've created over the years, where I draw it up every single time for the size of the chain, for instance. I can create a single end tag design, and I can literally place that design, enlarge it to exactly where I want it, and print it directly onto the metal. If I wanted to print 10 of this, I just repeat the print all the way through. So things like three-dimensional shaping of rings, where you have certain patterns which you bend and form, you can now go from digital directly onto the metal. So you draw the design once, you feed it into the computer, and you store it under a library. Next time you want the design, you pull it out. I say I want this glass, but I want it now 9mm. You pull it out, make sure it's 9mm, print it, let it print, and you can quickly do a polish or a quick chain fix or something in that time. Somebody again on Instagram reached out to me and said that this works incredibly good for set work, which I never even thought about. If you have stones that you're putting on a flat surface, for instance, or on a round surface, but in this case she had a flat surface she was explaining about, you can print the exact size of the stones from the top and space them in such a way that the stones are in exactly the right place, so that you can cut through those holes and create beautiful pave work. It is the fastest portable IR and diode laser on the market. If you're doing events or if you're doing shows, this is the machine that's going to be able to print right there. Very portable, very easy to use. Do I buy the laser? Do I spend the money? The longer I've been using this tool, the more we've been using it on a practical level. Your head would usually go one direction, but then if the laser is there, you go, well, also let me just see if it can do that. Personally, there's a very healthy place for the xTool F1 dual laser engraver in a jewelry workshop. I've noticed how much time it saves me. I notice how much easier it makes my production. If you've got any questions from here onwards, please post them, because I was certainly quite curious about this. I don't want to tell you about things that I'm not going to be using, so you will be seeing me using the xTool as we're going along with the manufacturing processes as well. Thank you very much for watching the video to the end, and hopefully that explains a little bit about what this tool does in our workshop. We are back next week with a manufacturing video of a beautiful big 9-carat diamond. 9-carat diamond, not the carat and gold, 9 carats of natural diamond. Hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching. Bell icon and the love and like and comment. We'll see you next week. Cheers!